From the pages of Nigeria's top newspapers to your radio.
It's from the Dailies, your early morning companion.
Every Monday through Saturday.
Society, nothing escapes the spotlight.
This is your head start into Nigeria's biggest stories of the day. From the Dailies, news that talks to you. Only on Melody 107.7 FM, Lagos.
From the Dailies, on your favorite radio station. Melody 107.7 FM. Stay tuned.
All right, a pleasant morning to you wherever you are tuned into across the globe, across Nigeria. And if you are also tuning in with us across the globe, I'll say good day to you wherever you are listening from. It's from the Dailies, another refreshing package of this of this program that comes your way Mondays through Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., where we bring you stories that made it to the front pages and inner pages of our regular and legitimate Nigerian newspapers. Today is the 28th day of July 2026, and it feels good to be here. And don't forget that we are live on Facebook as well as YouTube at Melody 107.7 FM. I am Matthew Oluwasegun Ijabiken, but as always, you can refer to me as MOI. All right, with me here, I have the Vanguard newspaper, the Punch, Nigerian Tribune, as well as the Vanguard newspapers. Please stay tuned. All right, now kickstarting with the Punch newspaper. I have with me the big bold one, marketers. Alt and Dangote fuel loading. Federal government steps in without a few kickers on the rate. Price and uncertainty triggered Dangote fuel loading suspension, and that's created to marketers. The second rider, refinery rejects claims of loading shutdown. With the last kicker, federal government opens talks with Dangote as FCCPC insists on Naira payments. And that's on page 7. For details, moving on, World Cup. No mercy for Messi as Spain seal second title. Well, you can get the inner pages of the Punch newspaper this morning for details. Go 2027, Yayi Ijabiken clash over campaign refund, and that's on page 8 for details. Away from that, a tenant dies after disputed eviction at Lagos Estates. For details on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And then federal government raises 729 billion naira bond to clear Genco's legacy debts, and that's on page 27. All right, above the masthead, terror mole alert. Opposition slams the federal government, demands arrest. And that's on page 27 for details. Moving on, businesses expect the CBN to hold rates at MPC meets today. That's on page 21 for details. States pocket 2.37 trillion naira VAT under new tax rate. And DMO, Dangote mobilized 11 trillion naira in 6 months as real sector struggles. And that's on page 6 for details. Moving on, Nigeria losing over 862 billion naira yearly as MDAs exceed 900, says Oyo. Or maybe it's Oye. I hope I got that right. You can get, okay, that's on page 3 for details. Cooking gas imports a surge by 1,400% as petrol supply dips by 22%. And that's on page 3 for details. And now federal government targets 729 billion naira second tranche bond to clear Genco's legacy debts. And that's on page 3 also for details. ICPC secures forfeiture of 941.9 million naira from IPPIS ghost workers. That's on page 4 for details. SERAP urges NAS to withdraw social media shutdown bill, and that's on page 4 for details. Okay, moving on. SAN falls a poll as Badejo Okosonya emerges 33rd NBA president. That's on page 4 for details. Obi marks 65th birthday with 10 million naira Anambra hospital donation. That's on page 7 for details. Parties begin candidate upload. Express confidence ahead of INEC deadline. That's on page 6 for details. And now I have with me Nigerian Tribune newspaper at the front page. The major headline here, Tinubu will beat Atiku's Southern Coalition APC boss. That's on page 2 for details, but it has kickers. Says the president's votes can't be splintered in the South. Atiku Amechi ticket will unseat Tinubu Shetima. That's related to ADC. Well, let's see how that goes, because this is coming from a place of confidence. Right above the masthead of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Oyinkansola Badejo Okosonya emerges NBA president, becomes second female president. That's on page 25 for details. Moving on, Nigeria Revenue Service sets July 31 deadline for taxpayers to adopt the e-invoicing system, and that's on page 5 for details. Concern over 27% surge in petrol import amid local production. That's on page 6 for details. Reps panel to consider Tinubu State Police Bill today. May present report during plenary tomorrow. That's on page 27 for details. How Oyetola APC members are frustrated Adeleke from joining APC as related to campaign organization. That's on page 4 for details. Why 79% of Nigerians remain poor despite reforms palliatives, and that's related to experts. So that's on page 18 for details. Troops foil attempted mass abductions in Borno. Rescue 46 students. Students killed during a gunfire with terrorists. That's on page 26 for details. Fresh concerns over increasing political activities. Inflation as economy enters H2. That's on page 5. All right, a reps flag off a probe of a PFIPC scandal. NLC 6 full probe. That's on page 22, pages 22 and 29 for details. All right. On the health corner of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, century-old tuberculosis vaccine may cut insulin needs in type 1 diabetes. And that's created a study. That's on page 22 for details. All of this on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. And lastly, I have with me the Vanguard newspaper this morning with a big bold one. FIFA 2026 World Cup. Superb Spain ruled the world, overwhelmed Argentina. That's on page 32 for details. And above the master petrol imports rose by 27% in June, and that's related to NMDPRA. That's on page 2 for details. Troops, Mopol foil mass abduction attempt at FGGC in Borno. That's on page 9 for details. Nigeria's macroeconomic reforms are bearing durable fruits, and accredited to Agama, SEC Director General. That's on page 14. Away from that, federal government to issue second 729 billion naira bond to clear Genco's debt. That's on page 9 for details. Away from that, agro exports crash 31% as port delays pesticide trigger global. That's on page 11 for details. Badejo Okosonya wins NBA presidential poll, pledges accountability. That's on page 9. NGE holds the fourth Latif Jakonde Memorial Lecture on the credible elections, and July 23, and that's on page 26 for details. All right, NCAA experts clash over 5% air ticket charge. All right, let me take this one lastly on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The Mr. and Mrs. Connor is saying, okay, from the woman now, I'm your wife. I can help with a few suggestions. As they say, Two heads are better than one. And the man is responding, not in our case. My head is shaven and thinks about bringing money home. Yours wears 500,000 naira Brazilian wig. Well, all of this on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
From the pages of Nigeria's top newspapers to your radio.
It's from the Dailies, your early morning companion.
Every Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m.
on Melody 107.7 FM.
Headlines
7 FM.
Headlines that shape the nation. Stories that shape the nation. Stories from the north, south, east, and west. Brought to you fresh and fast.
With expert analysis.
Stories from the north, south, east, and west. Brought to you fresh and fast.
With expert analysis, sharp opinions, and sound presenters breaking it all down clearly, smartly, and straight to the point.
Politics, business, security, health, society. Nothing escapes the spotlight.
This is your head start into Nigeria's biggest stories of the day. From the Dailies, news that talks to you. Only on Melody 107.7 FM, Lagos.
From the Dailies on your favorite
Lagos.
From the Dailies on your favorite radio station. Melody 107.7 FM. Stay tuned.
Advertising helps to reach out to potential clients or customers, makes you visible to the globe, helps increase sales and creates massive awareness on what you do, thereby increasing your profits or giving ideal results. And Melody 107.7 FM is calling out to brands, companies, institutions, organizations, businessmen and women to complete adverts with us for visibility and recognition. Melody 107.7 FM is located at number 6 Melody House, Akintoye Street, Realty Bus Stop. Melody. 6 Melody House, Akintoye Street, Realty Bus Stop. Melody.
Alright, you're still tuned into your radio station, Melody 107.7 FM. And it's from the Dailies where we take you to stories that made it to legitimate Nigerian newspapers. I already took the headlines from the front pages before we took that time out. And now I'll be taking you through the stories in details from the inner pages. We are live on Facebook and YouTube at Melody 06 201 1077 or 0704 800-1077. Again, 0704 800-1077. All right, I'm with me with the Guardian newspaper with this headline. Sand falls a poll as Badijo Okusoya emerges 33rd NBA president. Senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, Mrs. Oyinkansola Badijo Okusoya has emerged as the 33rd president of the Nigerian Bar Association after defeating two other senior lawyers in the association's fiercely contested 2026 national officers election. The election, which was concluded despite internal disagreements and a cyber attack that initially disrupted the process, saw Badijo Okusoya poll 12,317 votes, representing 47.8% of the total votes cast to secure victory. The chairman of the Electoral Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association, Aham Ejelam San, announced the results yesterday at the NBA National Secretariat in Abuja. According to the chairman, Badijo Okusoya defeated our closest challenger, Lateef Akongbe San, who garnered 7,934 votes, or 30.39%, while the third presidential candidate, Olumuyiwa Akinboro San, that is the chairman, disclosed that a total of 26,106 valid votes were recorded in the presidential election. With the victory, Badijo Okusoya will succeed the outgoing NBA president Mazi Afam Osigwe San, and will lead the country's largest professional association of lawyers for a 2-year tenure spanning 26 2026 to 2028. We're back to the headline. San falls a poll as a Badijo Kusunya emerges 33rd. And now, still on the Guardian newspaper, cooking gas imports surge by 1,400% as a petrol supply dips by 22%. All right, Nigeria's imports of liquefied petrol gas, LPG, also known as cooking gas, jumped by 1,400% in June 2026 as domestic supply weakened, raising fresh concerns over the country's growing dependence on imported fuel. Despite its vast natural gas reserves. Data from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) for June 2026 showed that LPG imports rose from just 0.1 kilotons per day in May to. And now I move to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Reps panel to consider Tinubu's state police bill. Today, members of the Special Ad hoc Committee of the House of Representatives Committee on this Constitution Review are expected to convene on today to deliberate on the state police bill initiated by the President, Bola Tinubu. The bill seeks to provide for comprehensive transition framework for the establishment of state police and the prescription of national minimum policing standards in Nigeria. It's a debate on the bill, which on Tuesday, the 14th of July 2026. Recall that the House, via a motion sponsored by the Chairman, House Committee on Rules and Business, Honorable Francis Waive, reversed the state police bill passed on Thursday, 11th of June 2026. In his lead debate, Honorable Waive observed that on Thursday, 9th July 2026, a 12-member conference committee was constituted to harmonize the decisions of both chambers on the state police services. The executive legislative proposal seeks to amend several sections of the 1999 Constitution to create a dual policing system, with the Federal Police Service retaining responsibility for federal policing, while states establish and operate their respective police services. All right, still on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Supreme Court restores a final forfeiture of Emefiele's multi-billion naira properties, $2.045 million to federal government. The Supreme Court on Friday restored the final forfeiture of several high-level and value properties and $2.05 million linked to former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, setting aside the decision of the Court of Appeal, which have ordered a fresh hearing of the case. In a unanimous judgment of the Apex Court, delivered on behalf of a panel led by Justice Ibrahim Muhammad Musa Saulawa, Justice Muhammad Idris upheld the 2024 judgment of Justice Dendi Dikweolu of the Federal High Court, Lagos, which ordered the final forfeiture of the assets to the federal government. The Apex Court held that the Court of Appeal erred when it overturned the forfeiture order and directed that the matter be heard by the trial courts. Justice Dikweolu had, in 2024, granted the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's EFCC application for the final forfeiture of the assets after finding that the Commission had established that the properties and funds were proceeds of unlawful acts. And now I have with me the Vanguard newspaper, and it has this big bold one. Gunmen abduct pastor's wife, 3 children in Borno. Suspected Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists have abducted the wife of a pastor and his 3 children in Damasak, headquarters of Mobile local government area of Borno State. The victims, whose identities have not been disclosed, were reportedly traveling to Damasak on Saturday when the attackers intercepted their vehicle near Karitsu village and forced them to disembark. A source from the community told journalists that the incident occurred around noon, adding that the victims were traveling from Maiduguri to Damasak. The source said the woman, wife of the pastor in charge of the Goguma, had recently been discharged from a hospital in Maiduguri after a prolonged illness before embarking on the journey. Back to the headline: gunmen abduct a pastor's wife, 3 children in Borno. And now, still on the Vanguard newspaper, an editor who deliver is celebrated at the age of 87, and that's created to celebrating Aremo Segun Oshoba at 87. On 15th July 2026, Chief Aremo Olusegun, also known as Segun Oshoba, turned 87. For many Nigerians, the occasion is an opportunity to celebrate an accomplished journalist, former governor of Ogun State, elder statesman, and one of the country's most respected public figures. For those in the Nigerian Guild of Editors, however, it is also a moment to celebrate. Well, that's to elder statesman as well as a journalist, Aremo Olusegun Oshoba at 87. We wish him many more years to celebrate. Well, last, let me take this one on the Punch newspaper 2027. PDP